What's up there, YouTube? Section 333 here. It is the 4th of July. I hope you can hear the fireworks going off in the background. I'm out here on the patio, under the gazebo. A little light from above, a little light from the back. I'm here with my puppy, who is always going to stay the size of a puppy for the most part. We had little Sookie before. She passed away. We had to put her down about 2 years ago. She died in December of 2024. My mom passed in May of 2025. We got this little girl here. Her name is Layla, after my favorite Eric Clapton song. Although it's not an Eric Clapton song, it's Derek and the Dominoes. Dwayne Allman played on that album. So I have Layla here, out here with me on the patio. She is completely socked out. It is, like I said, the 4th of July, hence the USA garb. Even got the big Soul of Adventure hat, the big sun hat with the USA brim underneath. I love this thing. Keeps the sun out of my face. Don't always have to wear sunglasses when I got this thing on. It's great. I am smoking a Missouri Meerschaum with a red stem. It's red and white. There is no blue on this. I was thinking of painting this blue to make it a red, white, and blue pipe. But it is a Missouri Meerschaum. I'm not sure what model. I think it's a Huck Finn. I'm going to light that son of a gun with a Karibi lighter, which is made in Japan. However, Japan celebrated our 250th birthday, I should say. I got my my watch, which I had the flag. Hold on. Yep, there we go. We got the U.S. flag on it. I got a red strap. I got a blue strap. I got the pool doing red, white, and blue for me right now. Hold on, let me spin you around. Yep, you're looking at my glasses. So there's the red. There's the white. I'm on blue. Where's the blue? There's the blue. So I got the red, white, and blue pool. How you guys doing? I have had a couple adult beverages tonight. Won't lie. Let's get this pipe lit. And for today's piping pleasure, Independence Day by Missouri Meerschaum. So it's a reimagined crumble cake version. It's a special edition one. I think they did it for the 250th. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Uh, yes, I am tamping with a little tiny screwdriver here, with the back end of one. I was smoking a Perdermo 20th anniversary, I believe. Which was a great cigar, but I kind of really wanted to smoke a pipe today. And I really wanted to smoke a Missouri Meerschaum. Because it's an all-original American pipe, made in America. Corn is an indigenous crop to the United States. It was the first place corn was found. So, I wanted to smoke this on video today. I want to get back to making more videos for sure. Mm. It is definitely on the cherry side. With I'm gonna say, I didn't even look this blend up, but I am going to say there's a fair amount of hay in this, which to me tells me Virginia's. There is absolutely no Latakia in here. Could be some Oriental, which is because there is a little sourness to it as well. And there could be some Burley in here as well, because there's almost like a cigarette. I'm gonna no, not Oriental. I'm gonna say very heavily cased, not heavenly, but heavily cased Cavendish. Oh, this is really good um, for an aromatic. It's nothing special, but fairly good for an aromatic. Um, the room note is definitely cherry. It's funny, if I had to pick an aromatic to say, oh my god, this aromatic smokes incredibly well, tastes incredibly well, and smells incredibly well, I am always going to pick Hobbit's Weed. Number two would be Trout Stream. Um, mm, very nice room note, though, even though I'm outside. And it may rain out here tonight. Actually, it is starting to rain as we speak. Um, I'm glad they got the fireworks shows. I'm fortunate enough to live in a village that actually has its own fireworks show each year here on Long Island. And ours was yesterday, and it was outstanding. Um, I'm fortunate enough to be able to watch the entire show from my driveway, which I did last evening. Um, I was off from work yesterday, but I was on call. As you know, I work in healthcare, so the service line that I cover, I was the administrator on call for them. So I am on call this weekend. My I wanted my colleagues that could also take call to be able to enjoy this holiday this year. So I took the call. I was on call last weekend too. Just water out of my glass, my 2020 glass, I should say. That glass is quite old now. It's about 6 years old. Pardon the beard and everything. I dropped something on the ground. Had to pick it up. Um, 250 years for any country, nation, empire, whatever. Long time. I believe the Roman Empire was like 250 years long. This is when we're slated to fall apart now. I don't think that will be the case with the United States, and I hope to God it is not, as I live here and I love this country. Um, you know, we won a revolutionary war that we had no business winning. We won in the War of 1812, we had no business surviving that. We've had civil wars, Great Depressions, the flu pandemic, the COVID pandemic. I don't know if this country is touched by God. I hear people saying that all the time. My old man used to actually, my father used to say that actually. His father was from uh, Russia. And my father and my grandfather used to say all the time that this was the greatest country in the world and that it was touched by God and that's why it was like it was. Had no business existing. I don't know about all of that. I do know, however, that yes, we've survived a lot that many countries would not have survived. A confrontation with the British alone is not something most countries would have survived back then. At the time, they were the world's major superpower at the time, and so that's kind of cool that we did that. Now, 200 here we are, 250 years later. You know, Ben Franklin said, you know, it's a republic if you can keep it. Hopefully, we can. Um, there are times where I am concerned for this country. That we have our heads screwed on straight. That's important. That we have our priorities in order and that we continue to be a great nation that sets an example for other nations. Starting to get windy out here. It's going to storm tonight. So we'll have lightning and thunder to add to all the fireworks. It's kind of poetic, I guess. Yeah. This is definitely growing on me. Not so much the flavor, but the room note for certain. But I do like the fact that the United States is a great example of resilience, a great social experiment. I mean, for the most part, we get along pretty well. People of all races, colors, nations, things like that. Um, you know, I have a daughter that lives in Japan, and we're going to be hopefully going to see her soon. Um, she has two children there. She just had one about a month and a half ago. And looking forward to seeing the new little one, of course. But hopefully we'll get out to see them sometime this summer. Oh, it's really good tobacco. I've definitely have had worse. Like I said, it's not outstanding, but I've definitely had worse uh, aromatics than this. Um, just trying to think. You know, I've been watching. You know, I don't watch much soccer, but because the World Cup is being held in the United States, I'm kind of watching it, kind of enjoying it. You know. What I've noticed a lot is that there are a lot of people from other nations that are here. and I've had the opportunity to run into a few of them. And online, I'm hearing like people like, "Oh my goodness, they've lied to us about the United States." And then the actual person who I met from another country, that person was from Germany. He said everything I've been told about the United States is absolutely false. So, and I was like, really? And he says, no. He says, this is actually an amazing country. Your people are amazing. He says, the food is amazing. One thing he told me, he says, you go to Germany, and yeah, occasionally you can find like restaurants from like other ethnicities or other countries, but not to the extent that you can here. He said that every town and city that he's been in, he's like, you have every type of food. He says, that's like amazing. And I said, well, enjoy the diabetes. And at least I hope he doesn't become diabetic at some point. You know what I mean? But we do have very good food in the United States, contrary to what other people would say. Um, and and for the most part, Americans are pretty nice people. It's like you come from Germany. We have towns that are primarily German towns, or people of German ancestry living in them, and we have towns where there's people of primarily African American ancestry or Indian ancestry. Just here on Long Island, I'm thinking. We have communities that are primarily Irish, communities that are primarily Jewish. It's and they have that to some extent. He was saying in these other countries that he's been to, and in his country in Germany, but not like we do here. He says you guys seem to like you work together, you mingle together. He's like, I went to a bar and there was people of every single ethnicity in there, and I was like, well, that's America. you know, that's just America. It's people living under one. I don't even want to say one common idea, but if there is a common idea, I'd say it's that we can be anything we want to be in this country if we're willing to put the work in. And if you fail, you fail, but at least you have an opportunity to try here. And I can't think of any place in the world that I've been where that's a feasible thing. Other places are starting to. This is a little wet when you first light it. So you do get some steam. I would definitely recommend letting it dry for about 35 minutes to an hour before you light it. And it does come in a crumble cake, which is kind of nice. The regular Independence Day does not come as a crumble cake. It comes as like a ribbon cut, not a fine ribbon cut. It's more like a crumble cake that's already crumbled, if you had to pick. Um, but like I said, the room notes real nice on this. It's nice cherry, fragrant. And Missouri Meerschaum. Yes, I did just drop my pipe. They do make a nice pipe. They are getting smaller, though, and I think that has to do with the crop of corn. Um, but they do make a decent pipe, and I smoke most of my aromatics in Missouri Meerschaum pipes. I have one true Meerschaum pipe made from Meerschaum clay that was hand carved. That was given to me by my neighbor, my late neighbor next door, who's passed away for it's been 3 years, 4 years now. He was 99. His wife was she passed away a few years after him, about 2 years ago now. and she was 96, 97. Yeah, I was hoping to get more frequently here as well. Uh, but I mean, my mother did pass away and went through a rough time just with her living with me. And I would not have changed a minute of it. I am so glad that she was able to spend her last uh, 4 or 5 years on this planet in my home, which is, I'm fortunate enough to have a very nice home. I was fortunate enough to have aides that could stay with her during the day and night. I was fortunate enough to have a beautiful backyard for her to sit in on nice days, and to have her go into the pool and things like that. And she just liked looking at the water, she used to say. I was fortunate. A lot of people be like, oh, I'm not going to cry and whine and moan. I'm going to say I was fortunate. Um, Unfortunately, though, this past March, several days out from her own birthday, my mother-in-law passed away. My mother-in-law was a great lady. My wife's mother, obviously. She had been battling pancreatic cancer for about 4.5, 5 years. And she actually succumbed to a myocardial infarction or a heart attack. Um, it wasn't the cancer that took her out finally. And she was playing cards that day. So she went out on her terms, which was a beautiful thing. She never was confused. She never um, was no dementia or anything like that. She was 100% with it. She was playing canasta with her friends when she passed away. When the heart attack took her, or came on, and then she went to the hospital and she passed away. And she was there with my wife and my sister-in-law, my wife's sister. So she was there with her 2 living children. My brother-in-law had passed away several years before. One of the things with life is death. Nobody likes to hear that. Nobody likes to say the word death. But unfortunately, death is a part of life. And people pass, unfortunately. It's a rough world we live in. It's that reminder that always keeps you humble. No matter your success in life, no matter your bearing in life, there's always that reminder that you are mortal and the people you love are mortal. And while things may be going great on one avenue, I'm at that age, my wife is at that age where our parents will leave this world. My wife's father passed maybe a month before our own wedding, actually. My father passed when I was about 15, going on 16. So she and I are both parentless at this point. However, once again, I'm going to say I was fortunate to have the time that I did have with my father. And yes, I wish there was more. I wish there was more time with my mom. But once again, fortunate enough to learn the lessons I learned from her and to have been around her. Even when it became to the point where I was like a primary caregiver for her. You know, if you can afford to put your mom or dad in a nursing home, that's great. But if you can afford that, you can also probably afford to um, keep them with you as well. Um, and that's what I looked at. I looked at the finances on that, and I said, you know what? Let's keep mom here with us so that she's around people she loves. And same with my mother-in-law. Really, she lived on her own. You know, she had her own place, and you know, we used to visit her every single day. Um, you know, my wife visited her regularly. Um, Most amazing. You know, and it's like one of those things. It's like, wow, that's why I married you, because you're freaking amazing. You know, it's yeah, yeah, but it's part of life. So I do want to wish everybody a happy and healthy 4th of July. I want to remind everybody of what a beautiful and wonderful nation it is we live in. And yes, this is a black man saying this, or a man of color. Yes, I'm also, you know, a man of the Torah. Um, but I do want to say that, you know, there are people like, oh, how could you say that? And I've been to other countries, and there is no place like the United States for me. I don't know if it's for everybody, but it is for me. And I want to thank everybody who watches these videos. And like I said, I want to post a lot more, and I hope to post a lot more. And I hope you like my hat. I think it looks good. Hope you like the shirt. USA. I think it looks good. USA. Um, and the truth is, I gotta tell you something. If I was a German citizen and I lived in Germany, I would love Germany. If I lived in Russia and I was a Russian citizen, I'd love Russia. I think you should have patriotism for the nation that you're from. If you enjoy living there and you enjoy whatever freedoms or abilities you have there, I feel like I was literally fortunate enough to be born in this country. And I have more rights and privileges here, I feel, than any place else in the world. It's probably a fact, in all honesty. It's not more. It's more than just a feeling. And I hope, you know, and I hope a lot of people do feel that way that are born here, and not even just born here, but also have attained citizenship here. Um, like I said, I've been around, and there is no place in the world like here. Um, and I'm happy to be here. And I'm happy to be here with you guys, more importantly, and to be making this video, and to be able to post this online for you guys. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like, comment, share, subscribe if you want to. If you don't, the beauty of America is you don't have to. So, but thank you all very much, and a happy 4th of July as I toast you with my water. Yes, this is water. Could you imagine if this was like vodka gin? That's a lot of vodka gin. All right, love you guys. Happy 4th. And happy 250th birthday to the United States of America.